In the quiet corners of an old town, where cobblestone streets whispered tales of days long past, stood a second-hand shop with a mysterious allure. Little did I know that within those dusty shelves an enigma awaited, a forgotten doll with porcelain skin and haunting eyes. I stumbled upon the second-hand shop quite by accident. It was a quaint little place tucked away in the corner of an old street, the kind of place that seemed to hold secrets and stories within its walls. The shelves were lined with forgotten treasures, each item with its own history waiting to be rediscovered. As I browsed through the eclectic mix of trinkets, my eyes fell upon a dusty old doll sitting on a shelf. It was an antique with porcelain skin and frilly Victorian attire. Its eyes seemed to hold a certain sadness, but there was also an undeniable charm that drew me in. I couldn't resist its eerie allure, and before I knew it, I found myself leaving the shop with the doll cradled in my arms. Once home, I carefully placed the doll at the center of my growing collection. It stood proudly, surrounded by other forgotten relics, and I couldn't help but feel a strange connection to it. It became my favorite, and I would often find myself lost in its glassy gaze. Days passed, and I started to notice subtle movements from the doll. At first, I dismissed it as my imagination playing tricks on me, but soon it became undeniable. The doll's delicate fingers seemed to twitch, and its head would turn ever so slightly. I couldn't shake the feeling that it was alive, but I embraced the strangeness, finding comfort in the company of the mysterious doll. One evening, as I sat in my living room, I heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps echoing through the empty halls. It was accompanied by soft laughter, the kind that belonged to a child. Panic initially gripped me as I lived alone and had no explanation for the presence of a child in my home. But as quickly as fear set in, a sense of warmth followed. It felt like the innocent joy of a little girl at play. I cautiously followed the sound, my heart pounding in my chest. The laughter led me to different rooms, always just out of reach. I would catch glimpses of a shadow or the echo of small footsteps, but the source remained elusive. It was eerie, yet strangely comforting. After a few days of these mysterious occurrences, I decided to try communicating with whatever unseen presence lingered in my home. Late at night, I set up a makeshift seance with candles and an old Ouija board. I asked simple questions, hoping for a response. The planchette moved, but the answers were cryptic and elusive. Undeterred, I delved into research about the doll, spending countless hours scouring books and the internet for any clue to its origin. It became an obsession, fueled by the need to understand the connection between the doll and the spectral presence in my home. Months passed, and my investigation led me to a small town where a tragedy had unfolded almost 4 decades ago. A little girl had gone missing without a trace, leaving her family devastated. As I dug deeper, I discovered that the doll I now cherished had once belonged to this missing girl. Haunted by the revelation, I reached out to the family, nervous yet determined to share my findings. They were skeptical at first, but as I recounted the strange occurrences surrounding the doll, their skepticism turned to disbelief and then to tears. The doll had been a cherished possession of their lost daughter, a relic of a time when their home was filled with laughter and joy. With a mix of emotions, I handed the doll over to the grieving family. It felt like a reunion, a small but meaningful step towards closure. The doll, once a source of mystery and strangeness, now found its place in the embrace of a family that had never truly let go. As the doll left my possession, I couldn't help but feel a sense of emptiness. The house, once filled with the laughter of an unseen child, now echoed with silence. The eerie connection that had formed between us had served its purpose, to reunite a lost relic with the remnants of a broken family. In the end, I found solace in the belief that some mysteries are better left unsolved, and some connections are meant to be ephemeral. The doll, now in the hands of those who had longed for its return, became a symbol of closure and a reminder that even in the strangest of circumstances, there is room for healing and reconciliation.